What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's 12:26 in the AM, and it is Thursday morning. Technically, it's my Wednesday evening, but it's probably your Thursday morning. I don't know. It depends on where you are in the world. I just wanted to do a brief video because I'm wishful thinking. Okay, I'm very much wishful thinking, and I was starting to just ponder numbers in my head, and I'm thinking to myself, man. What if? So Americans are very likely to get $1,000 or more in checks. Here's what you need to know. Romney suggested sending every American such a sum to help amid the coronavirus outbreak. The plan received thumbs up from Trump and lawmakers and economists across the political spectrum. So, you know, Obama did this. He did little stimulus checks, and it looks like basically, like if you make under 75,000, you're likely to get $1,000 or more, and then there are likely going to be bonuses attached to that based off of how many kids you have. And I started thinking to myself, wow, I don't know how many people out there are, a lot of people have already obviously been scared out of cryptocurrencies and traditional markets for that matter. But I started thinking to myself, what if just 10%? So the current US population is 331 million people at a median age of 38 years old, okay? And I've been like, I don't know if you're even going to be able to see it, probably not, but I've got all this gobbledygook. I was calculating a bunch of stuff, and I kind of created a cleaner version I'll show you, but I'm sitting here thinking to myself, what if just 10% of the United States population were to put even $500 of this stimulus money into Bitcoin? What would happen? Just 10%. Just 10% of the people. So 10% would actually be 33,100,265 people. And ultimately that would be like $16.5 billion. Okay. Going into Bitcoin all in one fell swoop. And I was looking on Binance, just kind of checking out the order book and trying to get some data here. It would take from Bitcoin being here, I'll show you this graphic. Go ahead and pull it out now. So Bitcoin's price, as I was working this up, is $5,363. Divided by $500, that's 10.6 people for every one Bitcoin. Okay, at $500 a piece. So 10.6 people would be able to buy one full Bitcoin with $500. The daily volume is around $30 billion right now, or 5,684,792 Bitcoin. This is actually up a significant sum, because before Corona hit, there were only about 2.6 million Bitcoin being traded on the market, unless I stand corrected. Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong. But I'm pretty sure I remember working up something not even a month or two ago, and there were only like 2.6 million, maybe 3 million Bitcoin being traded on the on the market on a regular basis. So if 10% of the population spent just half of that $1,000 stimulus check per person on Bitcoin, no slippage, nothing. This isn't calculating all that stuff. I'm not a rocket scientist, okay? But that would leave approximately 2.5 million Bitcoin left on the market, which is what I made a note would eerily how much was being traded before Corona. Okay, now this isn't a conspiracy video, but I'm like working this stuff up, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of odd. So $23 million is what it would cost to move Bitcoin from $5,350 to $6,500. So it'd take $23 million to move Bitcoin's price just $1,150 on Binance alone. Now, here's the thing. with Binance being basically the biggest exchange out there, there are a lot of liquidity pipelines being funneled from Binance. And what that is, for those of you that don't understand like kind of how some of this stuff works, you'll have bigger exchanges with a lot of volume, right? And smaller exchanges will pay that larger exchange a fee to access their pipeline, their data pipeline, or their order book data. That way, you don't have these smaller, lower volume exchanges trading Bitcoin at ridiculously different prices than the larger exchanges out there, because the larger exchanges are going to move very quickly and that price is going to be much more accurate. A smaller exchange, I mean, somebody could list a Bitcoin today at, $5,000, and tomorrow it could be worth $8,000, but the volume isn't high enough to keep that order book growing and to keep that level, right? So they basically facilitate that by utilizing liquidity pipelines. So you can have one exchange like Binance or CoinBase or any large exchange. They're also generating fees from all these smaller exchanges. Typically, it's a fraction of a percentage of transactions, okay? So, maybe, I don't know, for every dollar traded on the exchange, they may pay their liquidity pipeline provider, 5 cents or something. I don't know. It's probably not even that much. I don't know. But it adds up quick when you're talking about high volume trading. So if $23 million on one exchange would move Binance up $1,150, $16.5 billion equals 719 times. So you're talking about $719,000. Obviously, that's not how it works. But I'm sitting there thinking to myself, how high if people, rather than the public, spend these stimulus checks on Fritos and soda pop and cigarettes, and we all know they're not buying toilet paper or hand sanitizer. And I'm just thinking, how much could this, if this is going to happen over the next couple of weeks, how many people out there have heard of Bitcoin? How many people have heard of cryptocurrency, but they just didn't have the funds to invest in it? Now the price is so much lower that newcomers to the space can ultimately buy a chunk of Bitcoin, and it's not even really costing them anything. How many people in this country are smart enough to invest the stimulus money over blowing it on dumb shit they're going to forget about in 2 weeks or 3 weeks or a month anyway? And statistics have shown that wealthier people tend to invest these stimulus checks while the lower class people blow it. Okay? And that's just a fact. That's not me being insulting. That's just how it is. Because a lot of people, what can I buy when I get my stimulus check? Oh, I'm getting $1,000 for free. I'm going to go buy me a new stereo, or I'm going to go buy me a new watch, or whatever helps their social status, right? Is typically what these monies are blown on. And a lot of people aren't planning for the future. They're not looking at potential investments. And the thing of it is when you have such a huge economic crash with traditional markets and gold even. I mean, when gold starts taking a hit, there's a problem. All of these assets or commodities or whatever, stocks, you name it, they've all taken a huge hit, which means that the general public can get into a position on something at a fraction of what it was just even a month ago, right? How many people are actually going to take this up? How many people are actually going to? Because here's the thing. I still believe that Bitcoin is going to see $12,000 to $14,000 by the halving. I really do. I don't know how we're going to do it, but I think it's going to happen for some reason. And some people can think I'm nuts. And, traditional traders and charters and technical analysis guys will be like, Crow's crazy. He doesn't know what he's talking about. But I also know that the market, while the markets can be tracked through technical analysis to some degree with some accuracy, I also believe that sentiment is king. sentiment drives the crypto market as much or more than just about anything else, in my opinion. And sentiment is actually there, and interest is actually growing in Bitcoin. If you look at Google Trends and you look at a lot of this stuff, people searching for like Bitcoin and coronavirus, those numbers are growing drastically. You're going to notice a lot of people on YouTube have been using that for clickbait, okay? Because it's getting the search traffic. And so I'm thinking to myself, man, maybe this is, so I was also watching just before this video, and I'm probably going to watch it again because I was calculating stuff and I was working through things. But I was watching this video. It was a brand new interview with David Icke. And those of you that don't know anything about David Icke, he's basically a professional conspiracy theorist of 30 years. You know, he's one of the guys that put the books out about the lizard people, right? Like, you know, absolutely convinced that certain people in politics and other stuff are actually like reptilian people that, you know, whatever. However, a part of me has always wondered deep down inside if that's what he truly believes, that these people are like reptile beings that can shapeshift, or if that's just the crazy nutter thing that he puts out there to get people talking about him. That one thing that separates him from all the other conspiracy theorists. So in my opinion, I wouldn't discount someone like David Icke just because of that crazy conspiracy. I look into all of the other ideas that he has. He believed, I mean, I'm not even going to go deep into it, but I was watching this interview and I'm like, man, you know, it all sounds really good. I mean, he talks a lot about Corona, talks about the economy, how this all kind of plays together. You know, ultimately saying that this is all part of a big goal to usher in a one world currency, an all digital currency that, you know, fiat currencies are being used less and less and less and less. They're demonetized, they're devalued over time due to all the stuff going on in the world. And that ultimately, like, digital currency is all a pre-planned part of the overall New World Order kind of deal. And I'm sitting there thinking, wow, what a coincidence that all this stuff happened, sent all the markets crashing. And ultimately, you know, and I know the economists are looking at this and they're thinking, okay, well, the smart people are going to invest this money and they're going to turn that $1,000 into $10,000. And all of the broke people or the poor people or the not so educated people are just going to piss it all away. And what are the, you know, everything that they're doing right now is to try and save Wall Street. Everything that they're doing right now is to try and save the banks, the Wall Street, the stock market, all of this stuff. They're trying to keep it all from completely imploding. So they're trying to give everybody money to invest, to try and boost the market up. And they're hoping that the educated, the more wealthy, the people who are smarter with their money are going to take these stimulus checks and invest them. And they know that there's going to be a lot of people out there buying up a lot of new shoes and watches and stupid shit. But the percentage of that is likely, I think, they're betting on being very low. What I'm here to say is look into Bitcoin. And not only because if what I think may very well happen does happen, even 1% of the population putting half of their stimulus checks into Bitcoin. And here's the thing. The people who are in now and who have held through this are likely going to end up doing very well, in my opinion. I could be wrong about all of this, guys. So I want to make that abundantly clear. I'm not a rocket scientist. I'm not a licensed financial advisor. I mean, I'm none of that. I'm just a guy on the internet, okay? But I do believe that these stimulus checks are going to find, I think some of that money is going to find its way into the cryptocurrency markets. Because there have been so many people, because in the eyes of a lot of people, they're thinking, well, you know, I've been thinking about getting into crypto, but I don't know much about it. I don't really want to put money into it. Well, this isn't really their money. This is free money that's being handed them by the government specifically to invest to help them. And so, you know, if 10% were to put half of their stimulus checks into Bitcoin, A lot of these people are going to be newcomers. They're going to be getting accounts on CoinBase. They're going to be getting accounts on RobinHood. They're going to be getting accounts on crypto.com and a lot of these other things so that they can basically take that money and put it directly into Bitcoin and start building a portfolio, and likely other altcoins as well. It's not just going to be all about Bitcoin, because what's going to happen, like I said, I didn't calculate slippage into any of this. But I mean, you can see, just to go from 5,300 to 5,350, this is, oh, you can't see that. So I'll go above my head here. 5,850 to 900, it would take 240 Bitcoin. 240 Bitcoin, $1.4 million just to go up $50 in price in Bitcoin. And obviously that's going to change and fluctuate based on sentiment. So as sentiment changes, people are going to be changing their orders. Then they're not going to be selling the Bitcoin for as much or as high, or I'm sorry, as low a dollar amount. They're going to be raising it if they're actually trying to sell. And a lot of the people that are selling are only selling because they believe there's a chance Bitcoin could go lower. But if you were to look, you can also see that on the other side of the fence, it's a similar situation, right? So if I want to go from 4,500 down to 4,450, 120 Bitcoin is what it's going to take. So a wall of 120 Bitcoin need to sell off before the price goes that low. And like right now, this is a really big wall. 5,250, you can see it constantly changing. But you're looking at 940, 920 Bitcoin. Once that sells out, then we go down to 5,200. And so I'm watching this, and it's like, okay, you know, this is interesting stuff. Ultimately, the people that are holding, they're not trying to swing trade this, and the people who get in the fastest are going to be the ones who benefit the most from the next pump in the market. And if this stimulus money does in fact start finding its way back into the traditional markets, into the cryptocurrency markets, I think we're going to see a significant boost as we move through the rest of this month. And I still think that a big chunk of this could be what sends us on an upward trend as we close in on the date of the halving. And that's it. I mean, the numbers don't lie. And it's not going to take that much. 10% could be what, 719,000, not counting slippage into the calculations and the market fluctuations and all of that stuff. But hell, even half of that would be ridiculous. So I'm actually quite bullish on this whole stimulus thing. And I think if people, here's the thing, where else can you put $500 into an asset or put $500 into something and watch that multiply over and over and over again in a relatively short period of time? Where else can you do that? You're not going to do it with your lottery tickets. Some people go out there, they get $500 cash, they buy $500 worth of lottery tickets, and they piss it all away. And it absolutely blows my mind. So this is a crystal clear opportunity for people to use this stimulus money to do something valuable with it. And it doesn't even have, and you know what? People are going to be putting money into Bitcoin, likely other cryptocurrencies, altcoins. That's fantastic. Get involved, start building a diversified portfolio, do what you can. But I guess overall, the whole point of this video is don't take this damn check and blow it on dumb shit. Okay? Like, I don't know who you are. I don't know what you're doing out there watching. Maybe if you have something specific that you need the cash for, it's going to help you in an emergency. You know, maybe you are struggling because your hours got cut, or maybe you lost your job or whatever. I get it. But to me, if you're able to make it work, invest the money. Don't blow it on dumb stuff that you're not going to, you're not going to, just don't blow the money, folks. Use the money to make your life better. This is a very crystal clear opportunity. The market is down across the board in every asset. You're being handed a check for $1,000, could be more, could be a few grand. Use that money to make your 2020 better long-term into 2021. That $1,000 could very easily be turned into $10,000, $20,000, or $30,000 over the next 2 years. Don't screw yourself out of that opportunity. Take use of it, make good use of it, and I wish you the best. Until next time, crow your coins, and I'll see you again soon. Thank you. Good night.